Alright, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving glory and praise and fear to Heavenly Father, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. I also give double honors to Apostle and Elder Millstone who do well. This is Brother Come, member of the GMS London camp, or back again today with another video. And this one's going to be called, Who is William Kaiser II? Who is William Kaiser II? Or Revelations 9 and 11 overview on William Kaiser. Which this guy right here you see is William Kaiser. And if you don't know, he's mentioned about in the book of Revelations, the 9th chapter, 11th verse, which, the spirit's been heavy, okay, as on the fellow brethren, okay, the elders, I know of my camp, and just the other apostles of the heart in general, to basically go deeper into these breakdowns. All right, so here's, which will be my contribution, which I was taking notes on Revelations, the 9th chapter, and I just thought it was interesting how the Lord even had, great historical figures such as William Kaiser, okay, which he's an Edomite, okay, to come into play, okay, and how he's related in biblical prophecy. All right, because we understand the scriptures go into, I'll read it. This is Revelation 9, verse 12. One woe is past, talking about World War I, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Okay, so, all right, World War I is past. We understand there's two more world wars, which the Second World War is past, and now we're entering into the Third World War. Before the Third World War really gets popping, okay, there's one thing that has to come to pass, which is the R for democracy hit. But that's another video for another day, but we understand what? Of course, we understand the Revelation 9 chapter is really going into World War I, okay, and then it, jumps into World War III as a time skip. But how does William Kaiser, okay, play a role into that, and what is his history and what is his background? So you can say, well, Revelation 9:11 is talking about William Kaiser. He's Apollyon. He's also Abaddon, okay, which these two words mean destruction. Yeah, I mean destruction. You see, so he has some fucking devil horns. Anyways, yeah, that's not what it's talking about. Okay, it's talking about an actual man. Okay, so Apollyon also means destroyer or destruction, the angel from the bottomless pit. And who is that star, that angel? Well, we'll get Revelation 9, verse 1, and I'll jump down to 11. Is a Revelation 9, verse 1, and the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven onto the earth. He's talking about William Kaiser, okay? And to him was given the key to the bottomless pit, which is talking about Europe, okay? And so let's get into William Kaiser and his history, okay? If you can see why it's known as the bottomless pit, Europe has no natural resources, basically. All right. And if you read Revelation 20 chapter, it also goes into that as well. Okay. It says, this is from Britannica.com. It says, William Kaiser II. William II, born January 27th, 1857. Actually, read up. It says, who is the last German emperor? Learn about William II, King of Prussia, and the last German emperor. And Prussia is just Russia. Prussia is Russia. Prussia is just Germany. Okay, Prussia is Germany. Okay, and William Kaiser II's successor would be known as Adolf Hitler, or was Adolf Schicklgruber. Okay, Adolf Schicklgruber. Okay. So this is how you know it's talking about Germany. Okay, and also, okay, it makes sense, okay, why there's unions such as the EEC and the EU after you learn about the fall of, William Kaiser and then the uplifting of Adolf Hitler and how after World War I, how Hitler got into power, okay, due to these nations trying to basically suppress, okay, Germany, okay, known as the Big Four. But that's another video for another day. But anywho, it says, William II, born January 27, 1859, Potsdam, near Berlin, Germany, died June 4th, 1941, Dorns, Netherlands, was the German Emperor Kaiser, so where Kaiser just means basically king. Okay, let's look that one up. It says, okay, Kaiser Permanente. Kaiser meaning the German Emperor, the Emperor of Australia, the head of the Holy Roman Empire. Kaiser Wilhelm, it says the historical Kaiser Wilhelm. So there you have it. Okay, the Kaiser War. Okay, just really means like Caesar. Okay, and Caesar just means basically like a king. Okay. It says, and the King of Prussia from 1988 to the end of World War I, which they say 1918, but we understand in the Revelation 9 chapter, it refers to it as 5 months, which is 1914 to 1919. Known for his frequent militaristic manner, you see, he's also known as what Apollyon, known as destruction, militaristic manner, as well as for his vacillant policies. Look at that word, vacillant. To repeatedly change your opinion or desire. Fucking double-minded man. Youth and early influences. So this is something you should go into, because once again, okay, you can say Revelation 9 and 11 is talking about William Kaiser, but how do you relate that history? How do you go into that? Okay, what does he represent in that chapter? What is it talking about? Okay, William, the eldest children of the Crown Prince Frederick, late Emperor Frederick III, and of Victoria, the eldest child of Britain's Queen Victoria. He was born with a damaged left arm. Add that one in. The limb never grew to full size. He had a Project Pat arm. Not Project Pat. It was a DJ Paul, and what's that nigga's name? Is it MJG? He got the baby arm. One of them two niggas, bro. Got the baby arm. Anyways, the limb never grew to full size, and some historians have claimed this disability as a clue to understanding his behavior. He basically had a little man syndrome. Okay, more influential, however, in influencing his behavior was his parentage. His father was honorable, intelligent, and considerate, but had neither the will nor stamina needed to dominate. His father's lack of stamina was not shared by his mother, who acquired from her father Albert's seriousness of purpose, and from her mother's emotions, so on and so forth. And you guys can read some of this article. I'm going to grab the points of World War I. There we go. Role in World War One. Here's a point. It says William II and Hermine Reese of Gries on their wedding day, November 9th, 1922. Okay. It says what began as an attempt to save Austria-Hungary from collapse, World War I was transformed into a world conflict by Germany. William, having encouraged the Australians to adopt an uncompromising line, took fright when he found war impending, but was not able to halt the implementation of mobilization measures that he had allowed his generals to prepare during the war. Although normal supreme commanders, William did not attempt to resist his generals when they kept its conduct in their own hands. He encouraged instead of challenging the grandiose war aims of generals and many politicians that ruled out the chance of a compromised peace. By autumn of 1918, he realized that Germany had lost the war, but not uncharted World War I end by the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, in what is it called? It was June 28th, 1919. In the Hall of Mirrors in the Palace of Versailles, as well known as the Treaty of Versailles, which actually really came into play January 10th, 1920. Okay, which once again that goes into the big four: United States, Great Britain, France, and Italy. To remain players in the Treaty of Versailles. By the autumn of 1918, he realized that Germany had lost the war, but not that this had made the loss his throne inevitable, refusing to abdicate. It says to renounce his throne. His hand was finally forced on November 9th when he was persuaded to seek asylum in the Netherlands. He avoided captivity and perhaps death, but the asylum also made it impossible for William to retain position as Emperor of Germany. Subsequently, he lived quietly as a country gentleman in the Netherlands until his death in 1941. The legacy of William II. Now, why is he also known as destruction in the scriptures, which we'll get to that. Because this nigga brought mass death, man. Okay, that's basically the point why the Lord named him, okay, Apollyon within this Bible. Okay, why the Lord gave, John the breakdown of putting this nigga in the scriptures known as Apollyon. Legacy of William II. William often bombastically claimed to be the man who made the decision. It is true that Germany's constitution of 1871 put two important powers in his hand. First, he was responsible for appointing and dismissing a chancellor, the head of the civil government. The chancellor needed the support of Riksdag to pass legislation. Let's see what that means. Look up. It says a Riksdag is a historical legislation government building. Okay, so basically the government of Germany. To pass legislation but would not remain in office. Secondly, the German army and navy were not responsible to civil government, so that the Kaiser was the only person in Germany who was in the position to see that the policy followed by the soldiers and the sailor was in line. With that, he pursued by the civil servant and diplomats. Thus, British journalists and publicists had some justification when, during the immediate after the war, they portrayed William as supreme warlord, and therefore the man whom, more than anyone else, decided to make war. Apollyon. Okay? Apollyon. You see it? I hope you see it. As time passed, historians increasingly viewed William more as an accomplice rather than an instigator. In the year 1890, the German upper and middle class would have wanted a larger say in world councils, no matter who had power on the throne, and this urge the world powers was almost bound to bring them into collision with some existing great power. The chief real criticism to be made of Kaiser is that instead of seeing this danger and using his influence to restrain Germany's appetites, he shared those appetites and indeed increased them, particularly by his determination to give Germany a navy of which it could be proud, and by frequently tactless and aggressive public statements. You see, so he wanted all the smoke. Okay. He wanted all the smoke. It's for Frankfurt, Dunenan. Yeah, that makes sense. In Austria, Hungary, I believe it was. So let's grab the deaths, okay, in World War One. In total, an estimated of 15 to 22 million people died during World War One, including both the military personnel and civilians, with around 9 to 11 million being military deaths and 6 to 13 million. I got a low battery. Crazy. It says, with around 9 to 11 million being military deaths and 6 to 13 million being civilian deaths. Okay. And some people say it was a total of 40 million. Okay, military deaths range from 9 to 11 million. Civilian deaths range to 6 to 13 million. There's a lot of people dying. This is like it's the first World War we're speaking about. Okay, so millions of people are dying. Okay, if you go early in the chapter, Revelation 9 chapter, it says what? That basically they didn't have modern medicine. So I'll grab it. It's Revelation 9 verse 5, and it was given to them that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months, 5 years, and their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he strike a man. A lot of men didn't die from the bomb shrapnels. Okay, basically chemical weapons, almost, I guess you could say. Okay, so also they had the World War One bayonets. Okay, where it would basically kill someone. Okay, and you couldn't heal the wound. Okay, or the stab wound, which is actually banned now. So yeah. Okay. When he striketh the man, which you understand the scorpions. Okay, it's talking about the back of the gunner. Okay, of the fighter plane. Okay, because the locust, and it says, as power of the earth have as sorry. I'll read up Revelation 9 verse 3. It says, and it came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, talking about the fighter jets, and upon them was given power. Okay, as the scorpions of the earth have power. Yeah, because of the back of the plane, they had the gunners. Okay, and they would shoot. It was what John's seeing. He's describing it the best way he can. Okay, he's not gonna say, yeah, I saw war planes, and they're shooting niggas in the back and they couldn't die because they didn't have modern day medicine, because he's living in the Roman Empire on the island of Patmos, okay, as a political prisoner. Okay, basically in a sea camp. And basically a coal mine. Okay, he was working every single goddamn day. The lawyer's giving him revelations, and he wrote down the book of Revelations and sent it out. Okay. It says 6. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die and shall not, and death shall flee from them. Yeah, because okay, people were fucking losing limbs. Okay, they had to wrap up their limbs. Okay, so on and so forth. Okay, so we understand that what the reason why the scriptures call this nigga Apollyon, because he brought forth a lot of death, man, and destruction. All right. Revelation 9 verse 11, and they had a king over them. Who's that king? The angel, also known as what? William Kaiser II, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit is Europe. You see, he came out of the bottomless pit, referring to Revelations 9 and 1. Okay, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue had put his name Apollyon. And you can see in the picture. Okay, it has in the Britannica. .com. The nigga literally has, is it this one? No, it's not. The nigga, you can't trust a nigga with a pointy mustache, by the way. I'm just joking. But, the nigga, he literally has the fucking skull on top of his head, bro. This guy's Apollyon, okay? It's very clear to see, okay? It's not hard to see if you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Again, I'm not going to make this too long, okay? But I'm going to get to the point, a quick overview of it. It says total casualties. The total number of military and civilian casualties in World War I was about 40 million. About 2/3 of the military deaths were in battle. Diseases. Hold on. Diseases, including the 1918 flu pandemic. And deaths, while held as prisoners of war, still caused about 1/3 of the total military deaths. Civilian deaths were attributed to starvation. Yeah, there's actually a famine during World War I. Disease and genocide. Okay, men were trying to seek death. And they couldn't find it, man. Okay. So I can grab something. It says when the European nations squared off against each other in the summer of 1914, it's doubtful that anyone envisioned that it would mushroom into 4-year-long conflict. It's really 5. That would be vastly more lethal than any previous war on that continent, both military and personal civilians. Okay, so it's going to why. Okay, his nigga's known as the Destroyer. Okay, because he plays a heavy role in World War I. Central powers. Who are the superpowers of World War I? The Allied powers: France, Great Britain, Russia, Italy, Japan, and later the United States. The Central powers: Germany, Austria-Hungary, which Germany helped Austria-Hungary because of the assassination of Ferdinand. The Ottoman Empire and Bulgaria. Okay. You see it. Okay. And things are always getting, 4 days ago, things are always getting updated. The unicorn's working for who it needs to work for. Okay. You don't see Jake looking, well, what does William Kaiser have to do with anything? Yeah. This ain't for no niggas, man. So let's see if I can grab, I'm gonna grab this, Sirach 39 and 28, and then, I'll keep going on the deaths in World War III. In Sirach 39, verse 28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of their destruction, they pour out their wrath. They pour out their force and appease the wrath of them that made him. Okay, so yeah, once again, there's a reason why he's known as Apollyon within the scriptures. See how many deaths. Ooh, shit. Okay, there considered to be more than approximately 4 million military members lost by the Central Powers, which included Germany's empire. 1.7 million. So 1.7 million Germans died. Okay, according to the history, he didn't die. He died in the Netherlands in 1941. Okay, but I'm just saying, in his land alone, in Germany, 1.7 million people died. Austria-Hungary, 1.1 million. The Ottoman Empire, 325,000. And Bulgaria, 87,500. Those totals include both combat-related and fatalities from accidents, disease, and ordeal of being held as a war prisoner. So this guy brought forth a lot of death and destruction. Okay, this king. I want to go into this 1918 flu pandemic as well. It's hard to say It's hard to say, says Michael Green. Isn't that guy? Michael Green. Hell no, that's what I'm talking about. An associate professor of history at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, he notes that some estimates, but not others, have included deaths from 1918 flu epidemic and the Armenian genocide committed by Turks of the Ottoman Empire, even which overlap with the war and were intertwined with it. So there's a lot of death going on at that time, and this is basically one of the, of course you go into history, we have, but this is the first major world war. It's a lot of death going on. Okay, infection of the 1918 epidemic spread. So you can even go into this and link it to Revelation 9 and 11. Why is this guy known as Apollyon? Okay, and how is so much death and destruction going on during this first world? Because it wasn't just on the ground, boots on the ground. You can also relate it to the epidemic that's going on along the western front. The two sides were mirrored for years in brutal trench warfare, and heavily manured soil contributed to death tolls. Okay, so this also trench warfare spread the epidemic. Okay, by encouraging the growth of tetanus and the gas gangrene that killed injured soldiers, according to the Imperial War Museum. The war also made the 1918 influenza epidemic even more deadly. The flu spread rapidly among American soldiers as they gathered in training camps and traveled across the Atlantic to ports such as Brest, France. It continued to surge as they went into battle. In October 1918, as United States soldiers fought the Germans in the Mizzias of Argonne, offensive 1,451 Americans died from the Kung flu. In the course of the war, the pandemic killed a total of 45,000 Americans and 14,000 Germans. Once again, okay, Germany is also known as Prussia, and Wilhelm Keihem is the king of Prussia, or Germany at that time. And as many as 100,000 soldiers on both sides. That's not no small number, bro. That's a lot of people, bro. Okay. So, this is just, quick overview, going to some World War I history, along with, okay, the history of William Kaiser, okay, the second. Hopefully, this was edifying and learned you enjoyed it. With that, I want to say Shalom, Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. And Lord, this was edifying and learned you enjoyed it. Shalom, Akim, Shalom, Shalom.